Oh my gosh! And I end up arguing with these little kids because their dad says you have to confess every week. Sorry, I'm a priest. I know what I'm talking about. Your dad is wrong.
You know, people think you have to agree or be the same in order to be united. What about the example of, like, you know, you mentioned the, you know, Assyrian and Chaldean churches, but what about, like, without getting too much into the identity thing, but just answering the question of, does it have to be that Chaldeans have to call themselves Assyrians to be in unity with one another?
So I think we should start with a moment of silence for the Padres.
Yeah.
They're
knocked
done?
out of the
I don't want to
postseason,
talk
yeah.
about it.
Let's talk about that.
No, I don't want
Let's talk about your sadness.
I didn't know you were going to bring it up
fine,
because
over.
of this guy, man.
What about?
He's a hater.
He has a name. Okay,
I know,
It's not
he's-
this
My name
guy.
is this guy.
His name is Hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm
His
just
name
neutral.
is Mr. Hater.
It's like when
Josh Hader.
You know how you ever meet somebody that like they're mad
That
about
guy's a real
something.
hater.
Listen.
Okay.
Somebody's mad about something, whatever it is, and then they get mad at you for not being as mad as they are.
We piped to you and you did not.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like they
what
want
Jesus
everybody's
says?
mood to match their own.
We
Like their
cried
mood.
and you didn't
Yeah.
cry.
So,
We
like, I
danced
just-
and you didn't dance.
I just don't care.
You
and
know-
you can say I'm a hater.
No, but listen, since the Charger days, I know this is a very sensitive topic for
I
our
don't
dear
care.
brother here.
I actually don't. I'm free.
We're gonna talk about.
I'm free.
Listen,
I'm free.
please don't say you don't care.
We're gonna
about
talk
the
about death
Chargers.
again today.
Don't say you don't care about the Chargers, brother.
I'm free. I'm free from them.
He's
Okay,
a
what?
little Chargers.
What?
You used to hate on them so much, man. Because
Yes.
you know,
Together.
you used to hate on them.
No, even then I would just pray that they lost because
Okay.
the people in my parish were worshiping them.
Okay, fine.
And I wanted them to be freed of that idolatry. Now
Wow.
he's free because of my prayers.
Yeah, and
Including-
he moved that to the Padres. Why?
No,
Are
I
you
don't
really
pray for them to
free?
lose. I don't
Yeah.
pray for them to lose.
So you don't root for them to lose every week?
I don't care. Like, they won last week, right? Didn't affect my day at all. Didn't make me happy.
This is
didn't make me
balanced.
sad.
Okay,
This is
that's
just-
good, man. That's good.
I mean, I would not like them to win at all. You know, I don't like
Yeah.
them to win, but I'm not gonna like.
Lions are doing good, man.
Thank you, man.
But they lost
Really.
that Catholic guy, man.
Yeah,
Aiden
Did you see
Hutchinson.
the bad
It was
injury?
so bad, bro.
Man.
It was.
It was a fibia or whatever it's
yeah,
called.
I saw like a picture of it.
Yeah, it's very bad.
That's sad,
But-
man.
He's a good, faithful guy. We destroyed the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pray for him.
Pray
I don't know what
Benny,
you're talking
man.
about. Just pray
Yeah.
for him.
A
Benny's a big
guy's
Cowboys
leg
fan.
basically went in like a different direction.
Ooh.
It was,
Yeah,
it was
just-
very. It was very.
it's
bad.
very
Oh.
gruesome.
I didn't even see pictures of it.
You know what you mentioned earlier reminds me of the people that say, "Yeah, man, I got your back. Don't worry." You know, the people that get mad for you not being as mad as them. It's equivalent to the people that say, "Yeah, whatever happens, you know, I got your back." This, that, and I remember seeing this meme where that same, like, all those same people that say that, once push comes to shove, everyone's gone.
Oh yeah. How many friends do you have when you get like a viral video or you have a good homily or like something good happens? You know, how many friends do you have on that day? And then how many friends do you have when you need to move?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know? Oh man, all of a sudden I got your back. There's
I
only
remember that from Dr. Peterson actually. He said that in
You said that?
Yeah.
class
Yeah.
sometime.
Can you explain what Jesus says at the end of that passage? He says, so he says the thing, the children of this generation are like those who, no, he said the people of this generation are like children sitting in the marketplace,
Yeah.
crying out, we danced and you didn't rejoice, we cried and you didn't weep with us, right?
Yeah, we piped and you did not dance.
Yeah.
We sang a dirge like ma'adode and you didn't
okay.
cry.
And
Yeah.
then he says, yet wisdom is justified by all her children.
Yeah.
That line is
Yeah.
kind of
So there's two children.
mysterious to me.
There's two sets of children. There's the children of the marketplace at the beginning, and then the
Okay.
opposite of the children of the marketplace are the children of wisdom. And so the children of the marketplace, he gives this description. That means the description is they want everything in the world to follow their mood. That's what it is to be childish and a child of like the marketplace, the mall. To have a mall mindset that I pay and I get whatever I pay for. I get whatever I want. That's the mall. What's a child of wisdom? He doesn't explain it. He just wants you to sort of say it's the opposite,
It's the opposite.
of the child of the marketplace. What's the opposite of that? Whatever happens, I'll adjust, I'll adapt. My mood is not the thing that's going to dictate what's going on around me. I'm going to look at what's going on around me, and I'm going to adjust what I need to do and what I need to feel to what's going on so that it's the best scenario for everybody.
And it has a Christological reference with not making Christ someone who you want him to be at your convenience.
Yeah,
too.
they expect God to
Yeah,
change.
people
them.
even do
Yeah,
that with
they
God, right?
want him to change, and
Children of wisdom.
Yeah. So wisdom is justified by her
Like,
children. So, and he also
Wisdom
says,
is like personified there or
Oh, yeah.
something.
and in fact, Christ is often personified as wisdom, the wisdom of God incarnate. But he says, wisdom is justified by her children, meaning when you see people living with that kind of wisdom, that like, I'm not going to let my mood, I'm not going to demand that everybody feels the way I feel and do whatever I feel like all the time. And I'm going to be the one that adapts. Okay, today's rainy. Okay, I'm going to enjoy the rain. Today's sunny. Okay, I'm going to enjoy the sun.
Debbie Downers.
Yeah. As opposed to, oh man, it's too sunny, and just complain. Oh man, it's too rainy, and then just complain. Those people are just always going to be miserable.
Mm.
The children of wisdom, how are they justified? They're always going to be happy.
Mm.
And so when you just see somebody who's a child of wisdom, oh man, that makes a lot more sense. So the wisdom is, just pay attention, wisdom is justified by her children. It's much more wise just to live like that.
I think the children of the marketplace, you probably know this example. We have this mutual friend where he encourages this team to win. When they win, he complains. And when they lose, he complains.
He's a priest. He was watching the game with you with you this morning when Iraq lost.
Even when they win,
Even when they win, he
there's
finds
something.
one complaint, man.
I called him today. I said, look, here are the positives, and it's okay.
Was he okay with that?
He I said, admit it to me that this was good that this happened.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
admitted it. So
But he is generally good at just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And, not,
Just pray for him, man. Just
yeah.
pray.
Yeah.
That's
We all
fine.
need prayers.
I have no idea who you're talking about
Okay.
because it's sports related, so I just
Yeah.
let it go.
He's a good guy, man.
Yep.
So circumstances and happiness. So is happiness? It's not just a feeling then, because you
No.
could be something tragic could happen in your life and you can feel
it's,
sad.
yeah, like feeling comfortable or enjoying yourself. No, it's not necessarily. That's not the definition of being happy.
I don't even know if that passage is about happiness. It's about wisdom. Like if you're going to be
Wisdom
wise,
for how to live, right?
how to live. If you're going
Yeah.
to be wise, you adapt to the circumstance. And sometimes it's in Ecclesiastes. There is a time to weep.
Mm.
Blessed
Blessed are those who mourn.
Blessed are those
Jesus
who mourn.
said that.
There's a time to rejoice and a time to weep. There's a time for this. There's a time for that. So it's not about being happy all the time. It's like, okay, what does the scenario call for? I'm at a funeral. It calls for me to be sad and to be sad with the person that the family of the person that died and whatever. I'm at a party. What does this call for? It calls for me to have fun. So if you don't do that, what are you? You're at a party and you're just annoying. You're just annoyed and in a bad mood.
Mm.
That's called being a booma.
Well,
But it's not just social. It's just like, that's mean to everybody there. It's like a sin. Aquinas says it's a sin. Everyone's joking around and you're not joking. That's kind of a sin.
well, someone could say that if you force me to be a certain way, that's me being disingenuous.
Yeah, I was
to
just about to say
myself.
that.
I totally disagree with that.
Don't
do it because it's fake. Do it because you love the people that you're with more than your mood.
Like you can always smile.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
It's not about pretending to like.
Remember smiling?
By the way, I don't even know if it's about. In some cases, maybe in that person's heart, they feel like they're being fake. What I tell people like that is, okay, then don't do it to be fake. Do it because you care about other people. But like, to not just be moody all day long and my mood determines everything that I do, that's not being fake. It's being a grown-up.
Yeah.
Being an adult means, okay, I feel like this, but I need to do this. I'm going to do what I need instead of what I feel. That's not fake at all. That's just being an adult.
And that person can still be happy.
In the times when it's, in the good times.
Well, yeah, like what do you mean by happy? Like not being comfortable or not
Yeah, I'm trying to
being
say like
at peace and being content with your life, right? Like that's
Exactly.
more that's better for a person than just
I know the
being happy.
topic kind of shifted, but like the idea of happiness is just a feeling, and like I want to feel good all the time, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to feel good. Right, that's a false way to look at how to be happy, because even amidst with the
I think that's what the parable is about, actually. The children of the marketplace want to feel good all the time, or they want whatever they're feeling to be kind of the thing that's most important. So in another sense, the person is happier who doesn't let their mood control their actions. They're in control of their actions. Over time, it seems like God's grace transforms us. Eventually, our mood becomes less and less important, which means it becomes less overwhelming and controlling of us. And then eventually, I think what virtue is we get to be in charge of our mood. And if I'm sad, and then I get to a party and everyone's happy, I can...
Bam.
Maybe not bam, but I can like, okay, let me just joke around. Let me talk to people. Let me eat. Maybe my blood sugar is low. Let me eat. Let me have it, like whatever, have a drink or whatever. And you can sort of change your mood. And now you're in control, not your mood.
That's how you get your mood to change. When your blood sugar is low, you just eat.
Oh, yeah. And I'm kind of hungry today, so I'm going to be grumpy.
I know, man.
Let's talk about weddings again so I can complain.
I'm starving, actually. Such a better way to live like that, man. You know?
Yeah.
So you're saying that to grow in that virtue, like let's say somebody is not at that point yet, to grow in that virtue, they just need to
practice
it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Go make a joke.
Yeah. Look at how bad the people, the children of the marketplace are. It's not just I want my mood to control me. I want my mood to control me and everybody around me. And when I pipe and you don't dance, I get to be mad at you for not being a slave to my mood. Oh my gosh. You see how tyrannical that kind of soul is.
Yeah.
That everything around me has to follow how I feel like right now. Oh my gosh. You shouldn't even follow how you feel like right now sometimes. Much less you enslave everybody around you and make them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Confession, huh?
What?
What is that?
No, because
But they're laughing back there.
because I didn't know how to link it to
That's
the
called a
next
smooth
topic.
transition right there, guys. That's called a star
I
wipe.
gave it like 3 seconds, I think. Okay, somebody gonna say something, so let me just.
Meanwhile, in a different movie.
So there was a discussion on Catholic social media this past week about whether or not it is okay for confession to be available during Mass.
What's Catholic social media?
No, Catholic, like Catholic Twitter, Catholic Instagram. You know, like
yeah.
the Catholics are there. No.
I thought you meant like an app, a Catholic app.
No. So some people disagree with it. Some people don't. Some churches don't ever do it because it's during a sacrament, or I don't know what their reasoning is. Obviously, the people that watch from San Diego know that we have confession available. I think all of our Saturday and Sunday masses.
Yep, it's important. What are the arguments against it? What did you see that were reasons not to do it?
Not to do it during Mass?
Yeah.
I've heard a bunch.
That is during
I've
a
heard-
sacrament.
Okay.
Like they say you don't pray a rosary during Mass. You like you don't do another prayer.
it's distracting.
Yeah.
that's
and it's taking away from the Mass. You're going to miss some of it, which it's like 30 seconds if it's...
If it's me, it's about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
It's also... What else have I heard? I think that's... No, I think that's it from what I've heard.
So
Like
that's
the pushback.
So I get that. Here's another opinion that I found during this discussion.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter. I saw a reference to it on Twitter. Then I went and looked up the source of the...
Maybe send it to the guys so they could put on the
Okay, I'll
screen.
send it to the guys. It says local ordinaries and parish priests and rectors of churches and shrines should periodically verify that the greatest possible provision is in fact being made for the faithful to confess their sins. It is particularly recommended that in places of worship, confessors be visibly present at the advertised times, that these times be adapted to the real circumstances of penitence, and that confessions be especially available before Masses and even during Mass, if there are other priests available, in order to meet the needs of the faithful. So that's great that people have an opinion. Oh, you should focus on Mass. You shouldn't pray during. You shouldn't do. It's one side.
There's
That's a beautiful.
another one.
Yeah.
Another objection someone has told
Okay.
me. They said that it would cause more people to fall into the sin of presumption, knowing that confession is this readily available.
Okay, so those are all beautiful opinions that I'm sure are very thoughtful. This is an apostolic letter written by John Paul II in 2000. Saint John Paul II in 2002. So just reflect for a second. perhaps your opinion is wrong and a saint pope is right.
And either way, this is law of the church.
Well, he's saying especially
Isn't it on the
it's a
level?
recommendation.
Okay.
It's recommended, but so you're
Canon
saying,
level.
oh no, it's wrong. If you're saying that something a pope is recommending in strong language is wrong,
As I would say, show your work.
I would go a little further. I would say maybe question yourself a little bit and your theology. If your theology is leading to say it's wrong to do something that this pope saint is recommending. Now, to answer some of the objections, the sacraments, the goal of the sacraments is to unite us to God. And so if you think that the goal of Mass and the goal of confession are two different things, you don't understand either one. And if you think that the goal of Mass is I have to focus and like concentrate on every word, you should try your best to do that. But what if the lady in the kids' room, somebody has to like take a toddler to the bathroom, somebody just gets distracted in their mind. We've talked about distraction a lot, and like their Mass is less valid, their attendance is less
By
valid.
the
than
way,
you?
I think it's night and day for the amount of people that come to confession during Mass versus offering confession at a certain hour during any time of the week. It's night and day because right now our average penitence for one of our busiest Masses, on average, it's probably 60 to 70.
Yeah,
that's
for
one-
a Sunday Mass.
That's one
of
Mass.
One
the
Sunday
20
Mass.
masses that we
Yeah.
have in San Diego, right?
Yeah. It's contradictory. Like, oh, I want people to go to confession more often. A priest will say this. I want people to go to confession more often. All right, when's confession offered? Between 3 and 3:15 every second Saturday.
Or
Yeah.
call the secretary to
To
leave
make
a
an
message. And
People
make
are
an
already there for
appointment.
Mass. And there's 2 priests in that parish.
You know,
Just sit in the confessional. What are you doing in your office?
one thing I've been hearing lately that's been going around are how unavailable some priests are to parishioners, or maybe not unavailable, very hard to reach. You
Yeah.
know, and
That's me.
I think that's counterproductive to what the priest should be. You know, I'm not saying the guy's going to be on call for you. He's he has to answer every single text message at in a minute, but it shouldn't be that difficult to reach a priest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And thank God, for example, in our eparchy, we have such a close relationship with the community that we're okay with texting or calling or whatever it may be. And for some things, there's a certain procedure, but this is not a corporation. You're not calling Verizon to figure something out and be on hold and leave a message.
Listen, speak for
and I don't know
yourself.
what.
Please, nobody try to contact me. I'm just kidding.
It's a real thing, and it could be damaging to people's faith, honestly.
I want to go back to the Mass thing, the distraction thing, because some people are like, well, when somebody else goes up to confession, it distracts me. Okay, then tell them not to go to the bathroom either, first of all. Tell kids not to come to Mass either. Mass is not a movie that you're watching that you have to catch every scene and you're going to have a quiz at the end. Mass is the sacrifice of Christ that you are witnessing, that you are participating in. It's the sacrifice of Christ, and it's the meal of the family that is the church. None of that has to and when you participate in it, it's your presence there, and then you're sitting there and you're at the family meal, and you realize that you're dirty, and you get up and wash your hands. That's part of the meal.
Yep.
You realize I've got sin in me and I want to receive the Eucharist, and there's a guy that can forgive my sins right there. Let me get up, and I'm going to miss a prayer that I've already heard 1,000 times. I'm going to miss a homily that I've heard probably 30 times, or a couple seconds of a homily. And you're standing in line anyway. You can still pay attention when you're standing in line.
Do they
That's the
say
way.
it's distracting because do some people have their confessionals in front, like by the altar?
I don't know. I think when people get up and walk
Yeah, then
back
they
on
walk
us,
back.
but like, dude, get
cares,
over it.
man? Who
Grow
cares?
up, man. You want everybody, again, your mood. You want your mood to dictate what everybody else is doing. This guy needs a sin forgiven. Forget your 5 seconds of distraction. Love somebody else for once.
That's why another thing that doesn't like bother me. It's not objectively a wrong thing, but this is why I don't like the TVs in the church.
Yeah.
And people just staring at the TVs, wanting to read every word. Like,
But some people have disabilities.
No, I'm in favor of them for that,
You
for
know.
that reason.
sure,
Yeah.
It's
that's great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Father and Keto would agree with you right now.
I will say though,
I agree too.
there are books. We provide books in our pews for people to read, It's if there's something that's gonna be maybe distracting that takes away from the sacrifice that's happening. It's mass isn't just about reading words and saying words.
Yeah.
And
I made a big shift on this. I was 100% on your side, and I don't like aesthetically, I don't like the look of the screens. But like, it just took one or two people coming up and be like, you know, like, okay, let's say it's a deaf person. Well, there's a book. Yeah, but how are they supposed to know where you are in the book? It's different that when, and again, aesthetically, I don't like it at all. But like, man,
We're finally having the first debate here.
I'm seeing the other side.
Yeah,
now
look,
for the last couple of years. Since we started special needs mass,
Yeah.
I've taken a shift on that.
I
think
can't
it's a-
stand the TVs, but I wouldn't remove them for aesthetical purposes.
Maybe then
you know?
not. I mean, at least we have the luxury of having, you know, churches 5 minutes apart. So maybe not every church needs to have
Yeah.
one. Like at St. Michael's, we don't have one. We did the remodel, and you know, aesthetically with the remodel that we did,
Well, there's no place for you guys to put them,
and there's no place.
There's no
either.
wall that's
yeah. So, what do you think, Father Tristan?
so you guys all make great points. You know,
Eh?
I'm not discrediting any of it. I think it is great for those people with
Get
those
to the
disabilities. It's not about necessarily. I mean, so personally, I was a parishioner in a pew attending mass. It would be maybe just a little bit frustrating, just because of the slides change, and then it's just a little distracting from what's happening on the altar, from the
Bro,
what the priest is
mass
doing.
is always going to be chaotic. Phones going off, Khaltu's
I
behind
agree.
you,
I-
gossiping.
picking up the phone.
I agree.
Yeah, the guy picking his nose in front of you. Whatever.
But for
Things-
specific masses like the special needs mass, it serves a great purpose.
Or in some parishes, and if you don't like, you go to another, or you want it, you go to this parish. I mean, we're pretty close.
okay, go to mass at St. Michael's.
it's not my decision,
Not my choice.
not my choice.
What was the other
Imagine
one?
if you saw him in the
I know,
pews. Just
No,
sitting
there was another.
Tristan,
you
you
made
have
another-
to, bro.
Oh, the what do you
The
call
point
it?
that people
I do
make,
like
the-
doing that though.
Huh?
Like any.
Oh, the. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Just
no.
go. No, I want to talk about confession. Sorry. Go.
What point?
He wants to talk about
What is going
confession. He
on?
wants to talk about TVs.
What if it's playing the Chargers game during mass?
لا
No,
بس
no, we don't
أنا
do
ما
a
حكيت it.
There was one cool thing that we did with it. This was Bishop Emmanuel's idea, and I think they still do. I don't know. On Good Friday,
Who's they?
they at St. Peter's, they play the Passion of the
I
Christ.
hate
No, I don't
that.
like
You
that.
didn't
I
like
cannot
that?
I don't like that.
stand
Father
that.
Simon.
No.
And that's a great movie and whatever,
Guys,
but
cut
like
this out. guys.
I can't stand that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
tacky. There's somebody like you're going there to pray, and then there's
So what was
I
the
know,
other
like,
objection with
just
the
for kids
confession?
to, like-
Was-
now you want to change this
Just for kids.
for the kids to
What
watch
the
the Passion of the Christ. It's
Yeah,
rated
why
R.
not? I used to watch it as a kid.
Yeah, it shows up. That's why you're messed up.
Do it on your show.
Just listen to the
Just have them
That's
sit
the-
there.
Oh.
Have the kids sit there.
Yeah, that's a good way to call
Put a
them out.
TV right in front of them and say, "You guys are gonna watch."
They have to sign it.
That's
Guys.
actually funny because it is a rated R show, and like we
Yeah.
just showed it to a bunch of kids at church. So they don't still do that anymore.
No, they still do.
They-
What was the other objection?
Nobody listens to me about
What
anything.
was the other objection?
It was
something you
it
said.
encourages
presumption.
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 That so does confession once a week on Saturdays at 3:30. Well, if it's available once a week, just never have
Yeah.
confession. Make it so hard to confess. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna fix presumption. Get out
Well,
of here.
my response to
Get
that
out of here.
would
Get out of
be
here.
you would have more people receiving the sacrament, receiving the Eucharist with mortal sin, causing sacrilege. You know, because sometimes people
Yeah.
don't care about being in the state of mortal sin and still receiving. It's a
Presumption is something in somebody's
Here's-
heart. It's not for anybody
Yeah,
else to
yeah.
judge. Get out of here. And
Some-
it's a sin that needs to be confessed too. What are you
you're
talking
really
about?
feisty today, huh?
No, that's annoying.
He's just hungry, and
Bring
because we got good food coming. That's why he's like really imshahoye.
He's
the good
Father
food.
Simon knows me well.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So
When am I not feisty?
So some people think that they have to go to confession every week.
No.
Have you been asked that before? Like
No.
Abunak Barak Shaklan Qurbana Bala Modoya, you know?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh, that I
You know
have
what I'm
heard.
saying?
You know what that
because-
came from? There was a piety a long time ago that you don't receive communion a lot. You receive communion once or twice a year. And then when you do it, you go to confession because you haven't like received in a year. Well, okay, well, I haven't confessed in a year either, so I'm going to confess now before I receive.
What's the origin of that?
It's an old
act of
piety that I'm not worthy to receive the body of Christ, so I'm just not going to do it. I still see people, kind of older people, not do that. Now the piety has shifted to, it's not that I deserve it. It's that I need it. I
Yeah.
need these graces. In those cases, if you haven't committed a mortal sin, which we've talked about a million times in this
Yeah.
show, don't ask what's a mortal sin again, please. That's every other episode we talk
No,
about that.
but
No, let me finish.
okay,
No,
okay. I'm
no.
gonna let you finish.
Okay.
Guys, this episode's
but I wanna say
crazy,
something
man.
after.
Everyone's like
He
tense
just Kanye
and on
me.
edge.
I'm gonna let you.
I'm gonna let you finish.
No, you know why? It's the AC.
Yeah,
It's because it's hot.
It's nice and
because
chilly
you got a
outside,
little
man.
tease of it when it was on.
What was I talking about?
about
Sin-
Kanye? Oh no, I'm
I said chilly. The guy who was
no,
outside
about
in DC and
people confessing every week mortal sins.
in shorts.
Yeah. So if you've committed a mortal sin, go to confession before you receive. If you haven't, once a month is fine.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh! And I end
But
up
listen.
arguing with these little kids because their dad says you have to confess every week.
that's
Sorry, I'm a priest.
exactly-
I know what I'm talking about. Your dad is wrong.
that's exactly why. You know, these guys said, "Oh wow, another confession episode."
Yeah.
But that's why I bring up the mortal sin is because it keeps happening.
Next topic.
Next, but Father Andy, it
Just get a
keeps-
clip from a previous
I
episode
love
and put it
this.
here.
No, but listen,
I
Link in
love
bio.
this.
they don't understand.
I love this.
You know,
Well,
especially
repeating
young
the same thing
people.
a million times is not going to make them understand. They're hard of heart.
I don't know.
I don't-
Maybe we can explain it in a different way.
You do it. Next episode
You
when,
do
when
it.
I'm not here.
Just pray, guys, and pray for those.
It's the air conditioning. That's what it is. What were you saying about DC?
So how was the weather outside? No, because he said it's a little chilly out. And I said, Father Tristan, chilly meaning 74 degrees. In Washington, D.C., when he came with me to the March for Life, it was 18 degrees outside, I think. And he walked out with shorts and a t-shirt. And he was talking to us like there's nothing going on.
I like
Gora.
I like cold weather, man.
Gora
me too,
status.
man. Me too. That's another handshake. We've reconciled now.
What about you two?
No, we're
We're
beefing.
good, man. Just
We should change
Listen,
seats.
no, no,
Father
no, no,
Tristan,
no.
come sit here.
You know what
can
I'm
sit
gonna
in
do
it.
now? Any kid that comes to me and they said my confession was 3 days ago, and then they start to say, very small, simple sins,
Clout.
I'm gonna say stop right there. Go to Father Andy.
And I'm gonna say,
Hold it. Go to Father Andy.
and I'm gonna give him my business card. My business card.
Yeah, read it and weep. For those that can't read at home, it says, "Please do not contact me."
Yeah.
Do you want me to
Please
laugh
contact
now
him.
or later? Or?
This always gets a laugh. It was worth printing. It was worth the cost of printing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
So
I want you guys to reconcile.
No,
did you
no,
call
we're good,
me?
man. I'm just gonna send him all the kids.
Huh?
Okay, then I'll yell at him.
Imagine Father Andy's office being flooded.
No, but seriously,
They're so afraid. You know what it is? It's because their parents are like strict with them or mean, and so they feel like they're always doing something wrong.
yeah.
Well,
I've heard parents use confession
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
against their kids.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Don't use
go
religion to
tell
mess
Father
up
well,
kids,
Andy.
man.
that's our job
or
too.
go to
by the way.
confession or you're grounded.
Yeah. That's our
Oh,
job
you
too,
can't
by the
force
way.
someone.
In First Communion,
Sorry. Yeah.
like when we're explaining it to them, that's a big part
Don't
of
you do it though?
I
Because
do
I
it.
spend so much time. Mortal sin is this.
what's
you know?
so much time. Because I want to know where I am on that.
It's literally 60% of the content of this show is discussing what mortal sin is.
What so much
I'm
time?
slightly
so
exaggerating.
No,
much
the
time on-
kids, the kids.
No. We're talking about how
In
much
the
time we spend
confessional?
to teach the kids during First Communion, so that we don't have to talk it on the.
Maybe
about
we
on
should
the show.
talk about marriage.
If I can complain, I'm okay with that. All right.
Andrew's laughing.
Rogers International Thesaurus as a book there.
We're gonna get like 7 clicks on this episode. They like
No,
have
no,
no
I
idea.
This
don't,
was
I
a
don't
good
do this
episode.
for the clicks. I don't
This
care
is a
about the
this
clicks.
is a great episode.
I do it because I want to.
I'm here for the clicks.
Guys, honestly, I want to mention a thing that has recently happened in my life, okay? Which is,
Okay.
it was a big thing that happened, okay? I changed, Father Andrew knows, I shifted complete topics on my dissertation,
Oh yeah,
on my doctoral dissertation.
that's rough, man.
So I went from particular law, which is a different body of law in canon law,
Okay.
to ecumenism, the relationship between the Chaldean Church and the Assyrian Church of the East,
Mm.
and other. There's a little more to it.
And
but
specifically intercommunion.
intercommunion.
Yeah.
No, not specifically, but that's gonna be a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is now we're gonna have a lot more content for episodes because that's something very.
Well, that and
very
maybe
interesting.
we could do that show, you and I.
Shout out to Father
If you
Peter,
want
by the
to.
way. He was
Oh
on
yeah,
Oh, yeah, he was
just
on that podcast.
Assyrian podcast.
Who's that guy? Peter
Assyrian podcast.
Brahim, right?
Yeah.
Peter Brahim.
Ibrahim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, he was on Emmaus, man. He's a nice dude.
Yeah, and
I
they
didn't-
had. another Father Andrew. He's a married priest,
Yeah, I met
newly
him.
ordained.
I met him
in
when Morales was
Arizona.
here. He's
Oh
a nice-
yeah, we saw him.
He
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
nice. He's a
Very
very
nice guy.
nice dude.
Young guy.
I didn't watch the episode. I don't watch podcasts, man.
But you're
listen.
on one.
Listen to
Listen.
them.
What about listen?
But that's a great idea, man, for
Yeah.
a show to talk about the Chaldean church history,
Yeah.
the relation between Chaldean
I'm really pumped
and
about
Assyrian.
it because I was at first sad that I had to change. I mean, all that work and
Yeah.
I had to change it right away, but it was for the best. And now I'm like all in, you know.
So what specifically,
It's good.
like just in general, the relation between the churches? Is
You
it
know,
about
the
sacraments?
history of it leading up to the sacraments. Could we receive from their church? Could they receive from us? What sacraments are valid? Which ones would be considered illicit to them and to us? There's a lot, you know. There's a lot to talk about.
Unity,
So-
man.
Yeah. Unity is something that is said so often. I've heard so many people say, you know, they
Hubba
quote,
huyada?
yeah, hubba huyada. They quote Christ and say, be one.
That they
as-
may be one.
That they may be one. But when it comes down to it, it's something that requires a lot more effort than just this whole fantasy of, you know, unification. Especially, and I'm talking in a very general way, you know, when, for example, families say that, because especially in our community, it's a very known thing where this uncle doesn't talk to that uncle and this brother doesn't talk to that sister, whatever. It's a very easy thing for them to say, yeah, you know, unity is right. A family should be very close and tight knit, this, that. But while I'm the one causing division, you know, we want people to unify to us. We don't want to unify ourselves to others. We want them. It's like, again, going back to the children of the marketplace, we want them to do all the work,
Yeah.
you know, according to what we want. And that's wrong.
What we want and like so there's like, the problem is you're unifying human beings, each of which has their own will and heart and mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not about force and bullying and I'm going to browbeat you until you accept Catholicism. I'm going to browbeat you until you accept this identity or this whatever. And I'm going to bully you and I'm going to make fun of you and I'm going to mock you when you disagree with me. That's how you get people to hate you. Like you want unity by that in that
Yeah.
way. No, unity comes through education. Unity comes through friendship. Unity comes through like mutual understanding.
Not through the guy on the corner of the street saying you're going to hell if you don't believe in Jesus Christ. you know?
And you're destroying everybody because you believe this. Like the guy has an opinion based on his own understanding of things, and you're going to make fun of him. And it's like there's a conspiratorial. I've been witnessing this a lot, especially the last couple of weeks. That people find it impossible to understand that somebody can just disagree with you without that person having some evil, malicious motive. No, if anybody believes this, it must be because they're like whatever, a Freemason, or there's this
Evil.
political thing behind them. No, maybe they just have a different understanding of something. You know, like, oh my gosh. And now, not just are you going to browbeat them and bully them, now you're going to place a malicious intent in their heart. You're going to assume the worst in them, judge their heart and their soul, and that's how you want to accomplish unity? Oh my gosh.
through conspiracy.
Because
Yeah.
people think unity is we have to agree on everything and we have to be the same, actually, right? Like
In a sense, that's true. But how you accomplish that, well, you find what's the actual truth, not just here's this political agenda that I'm going to bully and bash everybody who disagrees with, so that, I mean, it's this kind of ugly thing, especially the internet has really made it so ugly. Like, I'm going to have this agenda, this I'm going to label the truth. Well, there's going to be people disagreeing with me. I'm going to take each person that disagrees with me and I'm going to attack their character. Some very close friends of mine have written on some topics that are controversial or that disagree with a sort of official propaganda stance. One by one, the sort of ministers of propaganda on the internet go and bash and they say, oh yeah, this guy, and it's always some mean thing that's not even true.
Yeah.
They make stuff up. Sometimes it's true, but sometimes like, okay, I don't get it. Even if this is a bad person,
You
that
know
doesn't
what
mean
ruins it
that what they're
also?
saying, even if it's a bad person, it doesn't mean that what they're saying is wrong.
What ruins it also is making it seem as if this is a win or lose situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, like
that's not what it is. It's
me
like
against you.
Yeah, it's like what you said.
Us against them.
Here's the truth, and we're both gonna do our best to reach that,
Yeah.
conclusion.
Yeah.
Not in a way of I was right, you were wrong, we won, you lost. That's more divisive. It's counterproductive again towards what you want to do.
Yeah. When I said like, people think you have to agree or be the same in order to be united. What about the example of, like, you mentioned the, Assyrian and Chaldean churches, but what about, like, without getting too much into the identity thing, but just answering the question of, does it have to be that Chaldeans have to call themselves Assyrians to be in unity with one another?
That's the whole problem.
Yeah.
Like you can say here. So again, there's so much controversy about every part of this because there's people that are separatists. There's like Chaldean separatists, which I personally think is very wrong. Then there's like
separatists, meaning what? That they want to
meaning we're
separate
two different people. We're two different nations. We want nothing to do with each other. Oh my gosh. So they're just against unity in general. I can't accept that. Then there's people that are like, okay, no, I want unity. And by unity, I mean, you have to change everything about your identity for me to accept you. I'm laying down that demand. If you're not doing what I demand, you're against unity. No, I'm not. I like calling myself Chaldean. That's my ethnic name. That's what I grew up calling myself. This is when I'm at high school. What are you? You're Italian, you're Chaldean. I'm not doing this because I'm against you. I just don't, this is what I believe. And there's a historical basis for this. It's not the Catholic Church imposed this on us. No, there's a history behind it that goes, so it's a complex thing. However, it's an accident and it's unfortunate that there's two names, but okay, just deal with reality. Now I have to force everybody to change their name. No.
Didn't you write a blog about this?
I wrote a blog post that I was
the last one, right?
No, it's been a few months. But the point of that was to unify and to say, but like there's a lot of people that are working very hard on this Unity project that really agree with what I'm proposing.
Is that what the reactions were to it?
Most of them were pretty positive. It's this, okay, like let the name thing, let's accept each other and unify the names. You can put a dash between Assyrian, Chaldean, Assyrian. It's one people. They're both acceptable names that are part of part of our tradition. And it was unfortunate that now there's one group that mostly calls themselves this, one group that mostly calls themselves that. But even that's not black and white. Gosh, but now I'm demanding every single person has to call themselves Assyrian for me to accept it. You're creating that demand. You stop doing that and unity is much closer. Just accept that there's two names and embrace both names. And don't say, well, when I say Chaldean, I mean Assyrian Catholic. That's what you mean by it. You get every right to determine that for yourself. That's not what I mean by it. If you accept the terminology that I use and the way I'm using it, and that it's just, Chaldean is an ethnic name for people that has been used for centuries. Accept that and to say these are one people and unify the names. It's so much better. It's closer to history, it's closer to the truth, and it's going to accomplish unity much better than I have to bully every single Chaldean. And it's much better than there is no such, like there's no Chaldeans, or a Chaldean saying there's no Assyrians. I've seen some of that online. Yeah. Why do that? Gosh.
What comes to mind is when Jesus gives us a command of being innocent as children. And the reason why that came to mind is because I thought of the last convention we had in our eparchy. And if people don't know, within our eparchy, we have many parishes that are Assyrian. We have a lot of Assyrian parishioners and parishes, especially in San Jose, Turlock, North Hollywood. And when we were on the convention, this was one of the first times most of the Chaldean young adults, Assyrian young adults were exposed to each other. And because, it's so true when Jesus says, be innocent as children, that's what they were.
Yeah, they're just dancing together.
Exactly. They got
beautiful.
to know each other. They asked a bunch of questions, what parish are you from? Oh, that's cool. Where is your family from? And all they wanted to do was build this friendship.
Yeah.
And they didn't even think twice about getting into the nitty gritty of, this whole unfortunate debate. And I think that should be a good driving force of people's mentality when it comes to this, is when you see young adults having so much fun with each other, Chaldeans or Assyrians, that
Yeah.
that speaks volumes.
That
you know?
accomplishes unity.
There can be
Yeah.
there can be unity without, you know, calling yourself the same name. I mean, with being distinct, I mean, it's almost like, I think we can say the Trinity, right? There's the Father, Son, and Holy
I wouldn't make
Spirit.
this theological.
No, I mean, no, just an example that it's possible to be united but different.
Distinct.
Right? Like it doesn't.
To be honest with you, I actually am more in favor of unifying the names. And you say Assyrian-Chaldean or Assyro-Chaldean or Chaldo-Assyrian, or I'm actually more in favor of that. I like one Anglo-Saxon. Those are two different names.
Yeah.
You know, there was a country called
Greco-Roman.
Greco-Roman to determine a certain type of literature or whatever. There was this country called Czechoslovakia. I think that's nice. I mean, and now there's, but in order to accomplish that, everyone has to agree on it. The reason why I think that's a better solution is now nobody has to change anything. You keep what you've grown up calling yourself, you're just adding to it. Rather than, no, I'm going to deny what I used to be, and now I have to identify as this. And every single one in the world has to do this for me to accept unity. You're creating these parameters that are artificial just to justify your own kind of party lines. And you're demanding that this has to happen for there to be unity. That's your demand. Let that go. Break your pride a little bit. Make this more about friendship and acceptance. And if you really want unity, what do you want more? Your name or unity? For everybody to take your name, or do you actually want unity? Because there's a much clearer path to unity. So, I don't know. This is something that has affected me personally, my family, for decades. I've thought about it so much, and I yearn for it. I yearn for this real accomplished true unity. But I just see all these dead ends, and it's becoming so ugly now. Like the internet is such an ugly place, and now there's true like attempts at separation, which is the opposite of what we want. That's the result of this kind of bullying and harshness online.
Well, it's easy to not have to hide behind the screen and say whatever you want to mask your insecurities while not really attempting to have a real life conversation with somebody about this,
or just to make fun of them, just to make fun of somebody that disagrees with you.
It's, you know, if like you guys are all saying amazing things, you know, unity does come through friendship. Like, go out and like sit and have a coffee over this, right? And have a nice discussion that bears fruit.
I just had someone reach out to me from SESU. There's this Chaldean-Assyrian club that they have, and they want me to give a lecture on the language of Aramaic and, you know, the background of it and things like that. Thought that was a beautiful thing, you know.
I'm always in favor of that
These
stuff.
young adults on their own creating this club at a university here, and
I love that.
it's great, man.
I kind of bend over backwards to support stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
However, we're not good at it as a community. Chaldeans are not good at it. Assyrians are not good at it. We're still bound up with the village stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even like consider somebody from another village as like kind of equal to me. Oh, they're different. Or there's, you know, so even that we're just not. And even within a village, well, my family versus your family, we're much more.
One time, this old person asked me where I'm from, and I told them the village, and they looked at me and said, they patted me on the back, saying, "It's okay.
Nobody's perfect.
we forgive you."
Yeah.
I wonder what village that was.
Yeah, it's like
No comment.
The apostles had this problem between each other.
Who was the greatest?"
Right? Who's the greatest?
Oh, yeah.
James and John, and so
I mean,
it's a problem as old as time, and even the people that were closest to the source of unity, Jesus Christ, they struggled with this. And if they had to overcome their pride while being in the presence of Jesus, we have a lot of work to do too. So
yeah.
Yep.
But
All
it was,
right. Oh, sorry.
No,
And the
no,
source
it's
of it
not-
is pride. The source of the problem is pride, not people disagreeing with me that I have to eradicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
amen, brother.
Amen, brother.
You want to say the last thing, or
No,
you want to save it
no,
for when
no,
we're
no.
eating?
No, it's not worth it.
Oh, there's a thing.
The food is here. Yeah.
What do we have here?
We have Paul's Jama's barbecue. He cooked this brisket for 14 hours.
Yeah, false.
14 hours, dude.
We need like a matumta.
Please
a
let
chemcha.
me serve you, man.
No, man.
I'm sorry for.
No. You should be sorry.
I was rude earlier about the Padres and Dodgers or the Chargers.
I don't remember that. What was it about?
I called you this guy,
Oh,
so I'm sorry, man. Love you, man.
me too, man. Always.
My rector.
You gotta try it like bare first. Then
Yeah.
then you put the sauce.
What about sports, man?
Is that good for you?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, man.
What about sports? Iraq lost today, huh?
Yeah,
Soccer, is that what it is?
yeah, against
Yeah.
South
Football?
Korea.
How was it, Father Tristan?
They played pretty good though. Wow.
This is top tier.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is legit. This is like legit.
This is better than Father Danny's.
It is.
No,
Sure it
no
is.
offense, man.
I'm a rookie, man.
No offense,
I'm
man.
still a rookie.
I didn't mean to
God.
offend you.
So he said the sauce has some muck in it,
Oh, yeah?
What?
and
Special.
this stuff he made it like
Torshi?
torshi
Texas
some way.
Torshi, he called it.
Wow.
I don't even want to try the sauce, man.
Yeah.
You can't even like grab
Oh, you
the
have
meat
sauce
because
on
it just keeps falling off.
Yeah.
You're right. This is one of the best things we've had on
he,
here.
he cooks at home, and he delivers or something or. Paul's barbecue. Thank you, Paul. Paul Jam.
Oh, it's a good sauce. All right. Yeah. It's like a business he's starting, or he just made this at home?
Yeah. I'm going to Michigan, man.
Oh, you're talking at a thing, right?
Chicago and Michigan.
Good riddance.
Yeah. Is there a wedding you're going to?
Love you guys. Yeah. You know, Talmud Katib.
Your dad's boy, right?
Yeah. He's also friends with Yazan.
He was part. No, he isn't in Michigan right now for that
Oh,
for that wedding.
his daughter Samantha.
He's part of this old crew, the old St. Peter's crew
people.
from the early '80s.
Mhm.
You're giving a few talks?
Yeah. Bishop Francis is part of that crew as well.
Uh huh.
My
They were all
dad,
friends back in St. Peter's days,
Yeah.
like in the early '80s.
my dad, with that crew, they took Bishop Francis to seminary here for the first time.
Uh huh.
They drove him there. I don't know if the Michigan people know that, but that Bishop Francis went to seminary here and was ordained here, right?
He went to seminary here until theology. Then he went to Sacred Heart for theology, to my knowledge. And I think he was ordained in Detroit, or was he ordained in San Diego? Don't quote me either way.
I think he was ordained here
Okay.
because I remember when Father Ankito and I were ordained. We're the first ordination of the diocese, but I remember the clarification being made that we were not the first ordination at St. Peter's.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense.
What's gonna happen with the show?
You
Oh,
guys are
next
just
week?
going to film next week.
Who's going to host, man?
How are we going to film without you, man?
I don't know.
I don't think it's possible, man.
You're the host.
I know, but we can't let the people not have an episode, you know?
The 300 people that watch this.
No. We get a lot of views online, though, bro.
Unlike TikTok.
Instagram, thousands, bro.
Instagram's in the thousands, yeah. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man.
Yeah. But, no, you guys can, I don't know,
We'll figure
talk
it out.
about, like, Halloween. Oh, you could do, like, a politics episode.
Ha!
That's actually a good time for it, bro.
That's fun.
3 weeks is election, bro.
Uh-huh.
3 weeks from today.
So who's going to win, guys?
Tell people who they have to vote for.
Chargers? Yeah. This is fantastic, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
Every bite's scary.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
No.
Like it's scary good.
Why? Oh.
Like, you know? I'm not kidding.
You and your new terminology.
No
man.
kidding.
Do you use gas?
He's Gen Z, bro.
No, bro.
Like, bro, this is gas.
That's too like,
To what?
it's just like, I don't know, bro. Like troll. Gas?
Even troll is one of those terms that I never used. Like, you were the first person that said that to me. That
Troll?
it's troll, to use troll as an adjective. Sorry, I know grammar.
No.
What are you laughing at?
There was another word that I learned last week
Oh,
at a Fidelity meeting
Eh?
do not.
that I can't say. No, you were there.
Sodality. Oh,
They're talking about the word I kept saying. Not
Was
a
I
bad,
there?
not a bad
Yeah.
word.
I don't remember it.
You're the chaplain.
Mm-hmm. Slaw is good. What's this? Potato salad?
Yep.
Bro.
Some white people food here, man. No offense.
But he puts a Chaldean twist to it.
What did he say was like torshi? Oh, the onions, right?
Yeah.
How are they?
Very good.
Yeah?
I love
Excellent.
onions like that. Personally speaking.
It's all excellent food, man.
Scientifically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
He probably makes the craziest mac and cheese too.
Mm-hmm.
You're like that priest that's still complaining even though everything was great.
Didn't complain. Where was the complaint in that statement?
That's true. But like there was a longing.
How are you so feisty right now? You just ate.
You just ate a bomb
It's
meal.
my
There wasn't
blood-
even a longing. I'm
My
just
blood sugar is still getting adjusted.
like mac and cheese goes with this kind of
Right
food.
there, that one.
Like you know, you go to
Which one? This one?
Yeah, please, man.
a barbecue place. They have mac and cheese.
Sorry, hold on.
I'm just saying, his mac and cheese is probably really good.
I knew what you were
You
saying.
knew what I was saying.
Yeah, of course.
Warm?
Two right there.
This one?
But I was called
Wow.
names.
You were called names. No, I
What was
apologize
the name I
on
called
his,
you?
his behalf.
You probably have to do that a lot, huh? Apologize on my behalf.
No. Yani.
Every
no.
couple weeks. No, he didn't mean to. He's just like the. That's just his person, you know.
I just thought of the plane ride to Arizona. I apologize.
What?
You don't remember the conversation I was having with the guy next to me?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a funny story with that. They were wearing clerics, him and Father Chris, and he was the only one not wearing clerics. And he's the only one that got into a like long religious conversation with a guy.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about clerics.
Clerics as in the physical wardrobe or?
Yeah. Ugh.
Scary.
Oh,
bro.
and you went on that youth
Scary,
mission.
bro.
That youth
What's
mission.
so scary?
to Arizona.
Yeah.
Scary good.
I've never heard anybody use that, by the way. Is it a thing or is it just you?
Not really a thing. I heard it from one of my friends.
What year were you born?
1998.
What generation are you? Millennial?
No,
Oh, Gen Z, right?
probably
Z?
Gen Z.
What's the
I
young
don't-
kids now? Gen
I don't know
Alpha?
what they mean.
What
man.
are we?
Millennials.
I don't know what they mean.
Even though we're not the
unfortunately.
same age?
Generation 4.
What are you, Father Andy, a boomer?
I'm Gen X. No, boomer is like my parents' age.
Boomer, yeah.
I'm Generation X.
I thought I called you a boomer.
I am. I'm that too.
No, you're not, man.
I am, man.
Okay.
What's wrong with boomers? Nothing?
I mean, a lot.
No,
of
they're
things.
like Karens, you know? Right? That's
And
what
they-
I feel like.
And they bought basically every house in the country and they won't sell them. And nobody can own property anymore because of them. And they bought all kinds of rental properties and nobody can own.
You gotta be
They're not the
careful.
only problem though, but that's part of it. I got to be carrying you.
Yeah.
I ruin it.
Oh,
Oh,